There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
On the Book Maniac, welcome back to my channel. This is an indoor finale to the series of videos that I've been filming today in August 2019 at my parents' farm in Saskatchewan, going through all the boxes of books that I saved, my personal favorites. When I moved to Japan from Vancouver, I sold the rest of my library. I liquidated 5,000 books, and these are the books I saved. It's getting noisy here. There's dinners being cooked. There's dogs and family and many things going on. So I moved from the patio into this room. Not sure the lighting is great. We got a glary window blind, but look at this statue. This belonged to my grandparents. I hope it shows up in the video. But anyway, boy reading. Perfect. Okay, the last two boxes, box H and I. I'm tired. I've been filming these videos for hours, so you're not going to get much commentary. Karl and Adderson's novel, Sitting Practice. Haven't read it. I think it's signed. Would love to read it. The one novel by her that I read, I loved. That was in the last video. Mark Doty's somewhat successful memoir of his mother, Firebird. Andrew Holleran's classic Dancer from the Dance, signed by him. Men on Men 2000, edited by David Bergman and Karl Woelz. Karl Woelz is my friend, and it's signed by him. A gay autobiography from the 1950s, I think. 1964. Mr. Madam, Confessions of a Male Madam by Kenneth Marlowe. This was one that I did some academic research on. It's not the most literary book, but lots of interesting stories. A signed copy of one of Margaret Atwood's first collection of poetry, the Journals of Susanna Moodie. Apparently, I thought that I should save Michael Ondaatje's The English Patient. Oh, I think I checked it yesterday, because it's signed. Michael Ondaatje, who the hell is that? Another collection of Carol Shield's short stories, The Orange Fish, signed. A work of gay literary criticism, Like a Brother, Male Homosexuality in the American Novel and Theater from Melville to Baldwin. Like a Brother, Like a Lover by Georges-Michel Sarotte. Powerful a memoir called Revenge by Laura Blumenfeld about her father, an American rabbi, being grievously wounded by a Palestinian terrorist, and her, the author, assuming a false identity and befriending the terrorist and his family and coming to some kind of reconciliation about Middle East stuff and peace. It's really, really incredible. Eric Carl Anderson just talked about this in a recent video about doorstopper novels. Fall on Your Knees by Anne-Marie MacDonald. This is a signed copy. I put off reading it for years because it was so big, and I read it in about 3 days. Unputdownable. A signed copy of Larry Kramer's play, The Normal Heart. Toni Morrison's Beloved. It's the only book by her that is beloved by me, and it is an incredible novel. And here it is, about a week after she passed away. Keith Haring's Journals. An intriguing work of literary criticism, Daneford's Library, American Homosexual Writing from 1900 to 1913. Isn't that just the weirdest era? 1900 to 1913. By James Gifford. I've never read it, but someday I will. So, who are the writers? Henry James, Gertrude Atherton, Willa Cather, Edward Prime Stevenson, I think I might have one of his books, George Sylvester Viereck, Claude Hartland, Howard Sturgis, and Shirley Johnson. Some of those names are familiar and others are not. Wonderful collection by Raymond Carville, Where I'm Calling From. Fantastic. This is an anthology of short stories by Saskatoon writers. The Bridge City Anthology, edited by Susan Gingell, and many of my professors are in here, and I have all of them signed it. That's where Don Kerr signed. Winnie Mandela's memoirs, Part of My Soul. I thought it was called Part of My Soul Went With Him. Oh, it was, the title was maybe shortened in later editions. Yeah, she lost more than part of her soul by the end. And look at here, I have a biography of her by Anne-Marie Dupree's Bedstrob. Another signed beat-up copy of Mavis Gallant's short fiction, The Pegnitz Junction. Wonderful novel, Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gooderson. I bought another copy of this to reread. I have it on my shelf in Tokyo, so here's the original one. Audrey Hepburn's Neck by Alan Brown, a gay novel set in Tokyo. I wonder what I'd think of this upon a reread. William J. Mann's gay novel, The Men from the Boys. Signed by him in Boston. If you buy me a drink, I'll tell you all the gossip I have about my meeting with this author. And this is the memoir by Nelson Mandela's prison guard, Goodbye Bafana. Nelson Mandela, My Prisoner, My Friend by James Gregory. Apparently there's some controversy about this book. I don't care. I found it illuminating and moving. Another work of queer male literary criticism, Unlimited Embrace, a canon of gay fiction, 1945 to 1995, by Reed Woodhouse. How about that cover photo, hey? This book by Michael Chabon I loved. His first one, The Mysteries of Pittsburgh, the one that seems like it's a gay novel, but boy did he throw hissy fits when he found out that bookstores were putting it in the gay section of the bookstore. But it's really good. The only novel I've read by David Foster Wallace, his debut, The Broom of the System, I loved it. This is an anthology of autobiographical writings by the ANC South African anti-apartheid freedom fighters that were imprisoned. So Reflections in Prison, edited by Mac Maharaj. I have his autograph on another book, and this is, of course, Mandela on the cover. So there are writings by him as well as other lesser-known ANC activists. And the last book in Box H is Andrew Holleran's most recent, perhaps, one of his most recent novels, The Beauty of Men, which I never read, but which I have signed. And last, this is the final box, it's quite tiny, a book of Rumi's poetry, Light Upon Light, edited. I don't know why it's got Andrew Harvey's name on the title, but it does. It's Rumi's poetry, and it's bookmarked because one of my friends was a gay Roman Catholic priest, and when he was dying of AIDS, he was in the Roman Catholic Priests Hospital in Toronto, and I read this poetry to him as he lay dying, and it was an experience, a series of encounters that I will never, ever forget. An unread work of maybe Sedgwick's last work of queer theory tendencies, signed by her. Shame in the Lives of Gay Men, Coming Out of Shame, Transforming Gay and Lesbian Lives by the gay Jewish psychotherapists and writers who are a couple, or at least were, Gershon Kaufman, PhD, and Lev Raphael, PhD. This is one of the most powerful memoirs I've ever read, Mark Doty's memoir about the death of his first lover to AIDS, Heaven's Coast. Oh. For Sean, with all bright wishes for you and your writing, and with hope. Wow, I guess I told him I was a writer. 1994, Key West. No, not 1994. 1997, Key West. I don't remember this novel at all, other than that I liked it a lot. The World of Normal Boys, a gay novel by K.M. Sonline. Time for a reread, I think. This one I remember quite a bit more about. Jeff Ryman's novel was. There's about 3 or 4 strands of the narrative. One is, I won't bother looking it up, but my memory is one is a kind of retelling of the Wizard of Oz story. One is about the life of Frank Baum, and one's about, there's several strands, and I thought it worked beautifully when I read it in the 1990s, and I have this signed copy. One of the first books about gay culture I ever read, Culture Clash, The Making of Gay Sensibility by Michael Bronski. Also signed. And last, but certainly not least, a signed copy of Quentin Crisp's Book of Quotations. I went to an event in Toronto with him one night only, a very Quentin Christmas, sometime in the 1990s, and he signed my book. So that's 9 boxes of my most favorite books, which have been in storage in my parents' farm for a decade, and here I am, sharing them with you. Thanks for watching.